What's up, guys? How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Oh, hello. I think I'll only have a couple more days. Oh, I feel like Yoda. In quarantine. I think we're getting close to the end of this thing. I'm not showing symptoms. My parents aren't showing symptoms. My other brother and sister aren't showing any symptoms, and she got tested and she doesn't have it. So we're going to finish up this quarantine and do Thanksgiving, and everything's gonna be great. What I want to talk about today is dealing with depression and anxiety in quarantine and through COVID. And I want to talk about what my experience has been, how I've struggled, and also how I'm trying to deal with it. And hopefully it will be helpful. I want to say I'm not an expert on this stuff. This is just my personal experience. It might not work for you. Everybody's different. I can only talk about what I've experienced for myself. So with that being said, let's get into it. First off, I want to give just a little bit of information about myself and what I struggle with. I've never really kept it a secret that I struggle with depression and anxiety and a couple of other things, but it's not something that I've been super open about, and it's not something that I'm gonna be super open about now. I had this struggle within my heart about the whole thing, because I do want to talk about it. I feel like it's important. I feel like God wants me to have a voice in this area, but it's still very personal and it's hard to talk about because my mental battle has caused me to do things I'm not proud of, and it's caused me to be a way I'm not proud of in the past. So there's a lot of shame that gets connected to it, and that's hard. So I'm not going to get super detailed. I'm just going to kind of give an overview of who I am and what I struggle with. So I have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I have OCD tendencies. I have some phobias. I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. The list is long, and it's hard because, like, with general anxiety, there's a lot of things that kind of fall under that a lot of people struggle with. I've been fighting these kind of battles for as long as I can remember. It wasn't until a couple years ago that I really started being proactive about it, and it wasn't until about a year ago, like 1 year ago, that I really hit rock bottom and was forced to really be proactive about it. I'm still kind of new to living this kind of life and mindset of it's okay, and there's a part of me that is sick and that needs to be taken care of so that I can be okay. That's still kind of new to me, but right now I'm in a good place, a much better place than honestly I've probably ever been in my life. I had to go through a lot of crap to get here, but I'm here, but I still have my moments. I was telling somebody the other day, I think people kind of expect, and I think I expect it personally, it's like, okay, you're going to go on the medication, you're going to go to therapy, in a couple months you're going to be good, and you're never going to struggle with this again. But that's not true. That's not reality. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily thing. Most days it's manageable and it's not a big deal, and you barely notice it. And then some days are really bad. It doesn't go away, but it gets better. And then some people have like situational anxiety or situational depression, where it's like, you lost a loved one, or like, you're going through trauma because of a specific thing. And then some people, this is just how their brain functions, and this is just how my brain functions. So anyway, all that to say, that's where I'm at. That's what I struggle with. And let's get into how I've kind of been dealing with it in quarantine. So first I want to talk about the depression. What I have experienced in quarantine and through COVID and my depression is I do really good when I'm really busy and when I'm distracted with the depression, but then my anxiety is worse, and then vice versa. So when I slow down and I have time to kind of think about how I feel and I have time to kind of sit in it, I go there real quick. I have a hard time when that momentum stops, if that makes sense. Because it's kind of like I'm feeling down, I'm feeling blue, but I have a photo session tomorrow, or I have church in an hour, and you can't really go there. When you're gonna quarantine for a week and, however long, you feel mentally that you have the freedom to be really just in the thick of it and be consumed by it. And there's almost like a freedom and a peace in that. So that main thing that kept you happy, that kept you motivated, was stripped. So for me, that's been really scary. So that first day when I was in quarantine, I dropped fast. I woke up, didn't want to get out of bed, skipped therapy because I couldn't talk about it. Was having a lot of thoughts of self-medicating and some of the harmful things that I've done in the past. Didn't do any of them because Satan is a liar, Jesus Christ is the truth. And I was able to work through that. I told my parents, I'm not okay, having a hard time. I actually got in the car. I got a blanket and my sketchbook and my journal and my Bible, and I went to Starbucks and got coffee and parked in a parking lot, which is something I used to do a lot. Needed to just get out, because when I'm feeling that way, I get very claustrophobic and I feel very trapped. So I gotta get out. Just went and parked, and after that I came back and did really good. Since that first day, it hasn't been like that. But that first day kind of freaked me and I got kind of spooked. So since then I've been pretty proactive about it. Now let's talk about, some happy things. Stuff that I've been doing that's been working. First, creating a schedule that's productive. And that's hard when you are feeling depressed. If you've never been through depression or struggled with that, because I feel like hear people say like, it was hard to just get out of bed. People are like, oh, you're being dramatic. But it's like, bro, it is a freaking miracle if you get out of that bed, because you just don't want to do anything. Nothing matters. The thought of having a conversation with somebody is just exhausting, just the thought of it. So I've been trying my hardest, and I've been doing okay about creating a schedule so that I don't just fall into a dark hole. How I've been doing that is I've been trying to not sleep in too much. I haven't been doing great at, which is okay. I think sleeping in is fine, as long as you don't do it too much. And then I've been getting up, making my bed first thing, washing my face, brushing my hair, and brushing my teeth. And then I've been making sure that I'm still editing photos, I'm still checking emails, I'm still working on my photography, and I've been making a lot of videos. I've been trying to eat a little bit better, drink a lot more water, stuff like that. So I have actually been pretty productive. I make sure I don't just not shower and not clean my room and not wash my clothes. I've been trying to stay clean and healthy and all that, and that has been super beneficial. The second thing is, how do I word this? I'm trying to find the right way to word it that's not like a million years long. Creating healthy habits that you don't necessarily want to do. I struggle with self-discipline and self-control because I have a very addictive personality, and I have a hard time not doing what feels good because I have so many negative emotions. I have so many negative thoughts. It's hard for me to do anything that doesn't bring me joy, that doesn't bring me peace. So I've been trying to combat that with doing things that I don't want to do, that are kind of like, oh my gosh, this is stupid, but I know are good for me, and forcing myself to push through that. And that has been really helpful. So like the getting up and making my bed, trying to eat better, because I'm an emotional eater, Lord help me. So trying to eat some meals that I don't particularly like, but I know are going to be good for me. Not over isolating mentally. Now physically, of course, we're isolated, we're in quarantine, and with COVID, we're not gonna, just in general, we're not hanging out with people as much, we're not seeing family as much, especially during the holidays, which is so hard. If we isolate mentally, that's scary, and I struggle with that, because I have social anxiety, because I'm an introvert, because of all these things. Whoop, hello. I want to just shut off. I want to not talk to anybody. I want to completely be within myself. That's a bad habit of mine, and something that I have to really have to be aware of and deal with. How I've been doing it, honestly, a lot of it's been through social media. Now you gotta check within yourself about how social media impacts you, if it's a trigger. But for me, making the TikTok videos, seeing my friends on Instagram, you know, like that's been really helpful for me. I've also been trying to call my family. I've called my sisters. I've been texting my family in my group text. So finding ways to not isolate mentally is so huge. Getting outside. And I know now, I was telling my mom the other day, it's so funny because summer is when I hibernate and then winter is when I like want to be outside and feel alive. I just like the weather. I love it. I sat outside yesterday on my back porch and read 2 books, and journaled and drew in my sketchbook, and it was so huge. So getting outside, or doing like I did and going for a drive, and changing your environment. Now, let's talk about the anxiety. I was actually surprised. I don't know why, I probably shouldn't have been, but I was surprised about how my anxiety and my stress have been affecting me in quarantine, because I just assumed that because things were slowing down, I mean, I wouldn't be that stressed, but I have noticed that my stress and anxiety has been manifesting physically before I knew what was happening mentally. So I have some OCD tendencies and I struggle with that a little bit, and I have a lot of like tics that come on when I get stressed. A lot in the forehead and the face and the jaw and the mouth, and then with my hands and like stuff like that. So I've been having a lot of tension in my muscles and in my body because I've been like, you know, doing these things and haven't been sleeping as well, and my stomach's been upset, and it's just within the past few days that I've been like really struggling. Like I've been having to take ibuprofen, that I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and check where I'm at. I still don't really know what the thought process is. My days have been so different from what they were, and there's some hidden stress of like, what if I get COVID? What if, like, I hope my family's okay. We're gonna miss out on the holidays. I miss people, you know. There's been a lot of things in the back of my head going on making me anxious that I didn't realize. So, the first thing I want to talk about, I don't know if you struggled with self-harm or self-harm thoughts or anything like that. I have had to try to find ways to deal with that and kind of replace that action, but still help me. So when I first started struggling with self-harm is when I was having panic attacks, because it was a quick way for me to really release that. I remember I was reading my journal the other day, and I was writing down some of the stuff I was doing and some of the destructive behavior. And I was like, I want to create as much chaos and pain physically on the outside that I can see and touch that I feel on the inside. So it's kind of a way of making sense of what's happening, and it makes you feel like you're in control. I was struggling with that a little bit because my anxiety's been up, because I've been struggling with this stuff. The first thing that I did was exercise. So this is one for self-harm and for anxiety. Working out and doing like a kind of aggressive stuff where you're like lifting really heavy weights or doing that stuff that gives you that burn and that fire really helps and gives you a lot of the same kind of relief that self-harm does, at least in my experience. So I instantly for like 10 minutes was just like going at it. I still have to be careful with that because you could still hurt yourself. If you work out and you're not like stretching properly or you overdo it, you can pull a muscle, and that's not good either. Going on a run or doing something that's physical that's going to give you that relief brings your anxiety way down. The second thing is journaling, and I feel like there are a lot of things that people feel like are kind of just cliche, and I think like going to get some sun or journaling, you know, or eating healthy, and no, like these things aren't going to completely fix, you know, like you need help and you need to go to doctors and stuff, but they really do help cope with it. One second, my mouth is so dry. I've recently got back into journaling because it helps me quiet the noise in my head and it helps me get my thoughts out. And usually when I'm journaling, I can kind of unravel what's happening and how I'm feeling. So like some of this stuff, if I don't really know why I'm anxious or I don't really know what's happening, kind of when I journal it out and I kind of go through what's been going on and what I'm feeling and what's happening, I can kind of go, oh, that's what happened. I feel like because I'm a perfectionist and I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. So when I go down and journal, I'm like, this has to be like freaking novel. So even honestly, if you write down like, this sounds stupid, but I'm sad. I did this. I felt this way. I'm mad about that. You know, it doesn't have to be pretty, but getting down the unfiltered truth in your journal, in your writing, in your personal space is very important and very helpful, where you don't have to sugarcoat anything. You don't have to be nice to anybody. Like, you can just kind of be very, very honest. And that also really helps release a lot of stuff. Self-care. Oh, I love self-care. And self-care is not something I really knew about before therapy. But self-care is stuff that is purely for you, stuff that is not going to harm you, but doesn't necessarily have to be what the world thinks is healthy. So a self-care day might look like going to get fast food. Not always. It's anything that's going to recharge you, things that are going to fill you up. Trying to maintain self-care, whether it's like, you know, taking a hot shower every day and having that time to let your muscles relax or whatever, or doing meditation, listening to a really calming playlist. Like, there are things that you can do that you don't feel like are gonna make that big of a difference, but they will. Speaking of meditation, that's my next thing. Now, I know everybody has all sorts of opinions on the meditation, and that is okay, but your girl loves it. Your girl's into it. My therapist was telling me about headspace and mindfulness and all that stuff. And we literally, there were a couple of times where we did it. We just sat there and we closed our eyes, and I felt so dumb. But then it was so good, and it's something that's really helped me sleep. I haven't done it for a while. I did it last night because I've been having so much tension, because I've been having so much stress. I actually went on Spotify and found a guided meditation. Oh my gosh, I went into a different world. It was so amazing. Highly recommend. So meditation, mindfulness, learning to calm things down totally. And it's hard and it's scary for me with my anxiety to be that still, because I try to run from my brain so much, and I try to just hide from it and not deal with what's happening. So when I quiet and when I'm still and I'm forced to kind of face it, it's terrifying. And for the first few minutes, it's like just after thing after thing after thing. And then it kind of just stills, and you can feel it kind of like alphabet soup. Like, you can kind of see those letters and the words kind of spreading out, and they're less and less and less, and then it's just still. Let me tell you something brand freaking tastic. I also want to say that it is okay to be struggling with this stuff, to be feeling this way. There is absolutely no shame in getting help. Please let me tell you, from somebody who has gone to the really, really bad place with this because she didn't get help, because she took so long to deal with it. It's not worth it. Talk to somebody or call somebody. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your family. Be honest with your doctors. Please take care of you, because you are worth it. It isn't something to be afraid of. It isn't something to be ashamed of. It's just something that you're going through and that you need help to deal with. So please, please, please don't hide in that. So yeah, that's just kind of my little nuggets on that. So if you want to hear more stuff about that, or if you have questions, just let me know. Just let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff, hit that subscribe button. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful life.